Hello, this is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharp. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead, start putting your questions in the comments. Today, I want to talk about getting protection from deportation. Yes, that is still a possibility. And I want to be able to tell you guys what I'm noticing and what you can do to make sure that you put yourself in the best position possible. So, now they are ramping up removals um, and the process of detaining people. And what I am noticing is individuals, many people are at risk now, including people who are already applying. The least little mistake that's made in the case, if there's a denial, before you can even refile, they issue a notice to appear. And just like that, your case is in removal proceedings. In outside of USCIS context, when people are being stopped by police, police are now working with ICE. I never thought I would say that, but that's what's happening. Police are working with ICE, and they're very much incentivized to to target immigrants and to pass them on to ICE. I'm seeing it right here in Florida happening, and it's now turning into a well-oiled machine where they stop an immigrant in a traffic stop, and then for driving without a license, they arrest them for that offense, and then they call ICE, and ICE comes and gets them immediately and takes them away. So it's happening now. In many of the cases that I've worked on to get my clients relief and to get them released, we have presented to ICE or we've presented to immigration judge showing that they have a pending case or they qualify for as a relief. And we need to make sure that they at least are released to work on their case. So that shows, guys, that when you do have a pending process, it can make a difference. And at this point, what I'm seeing is individuals who do not even make a move to figure out what they qualify for are at higher risk for being detained and then having very little access to get an attorney on board. And it gets very hard to be able to contact an attorney and get them on your case, especially when someone is in detention. We are working with clients who are in detention, and I can tell you it takes additional effort and perseverance, frankly, to be able to continue to connect with the client, to be able to represent them in a solid way. So, uh, and we work much harder when this person did not have did not even seek relief, and now they're seeking assistance to defend a deportation and while they're detained, and also want to be released at the same time. So this is where I'm saying it's very important to at least contact an immigration attorney, talk about your case, and determine whether you qualify for something that could get you relief, get you your work permit, or where if something happens while your case is pending, you can at least show that you have a pending case, and this can help you to get released in order to pursue your case. Very important, you know that. And I would say this at this point, with the level of risk everybody is facing out there, it really is a win situation. You're putting yourself in a winning position when you are at least talking to an attorney to figure out what your options are. And once you've done that, for example, once you've done that, you're looking at your options. Even if there's not an option, then if you should ever be in removal, at least you've now had a relationship with an attorney. For example, if somebody called, maybe they don't qualify for something today, they got detained, or something changes in their case, they call us back. We can get started pretty quickly to be able to get them going on either defending them or get them going on a process. So, I am telling you this because I seriously see where individuals who have quick access to legal counsel, who have the ability to have legal counsel strategize on their behalf, which we have been doing, it puts clients and individuals in a better position to be able to fight the deportation or to get protection from removal. Excuse me for a minute. Okay, sorry, I just got a distraction. I just got a distraction, so thank you for waiting. So, guys, it's very important that you. Oh, okay, hold for a moment. Hold for a moment. Yes, yeah, I can hear you. What's that? Mhm. Okay. Well, if that's the case, you can't do that on the spot. Okay, I'm currently on my live, so I will just cancel it then. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, sorry guys. I had an urgent call, so I had to take a minute to take the call. So I'm sorry about that, but it was urgent. Thank you so much for waiting. It looked urgent, so I had to answer. So all right, let's get back to what we were talking about. Very, very important that you seek relief. We're a safe space. We are able to go ahead and talk to you about your situation, determine whether you qualify for something. And we also will be able to have your information. So if something changes, you call us back. We can get started pretty quickly because we've already done a consultation with you. Now I'm going to answer questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments so I can answer. Can you please give me a call? So go ahead and DM us, please. DM us your information. It's really easy. Go to Instagram, DM us, and we can call you right away. We are 24 hours. Okay. So no matter when you're thinking about this, go ahead and give us a call. 3 in the morning, give us a call. We are here to help. That's why we're doing this. And things are getting tougher. But one thing I can tell you is even though things are getting tougher, we are still pushing through. And even during these tough times, we are still seeing approvals coming in. We just got asylum. We're getting work permit, asylum work permits, T visa work permits, VAWA work permits, adjustment of status. So business is moving forward, maybe not as usual, because while we have been filing our cases, making sure we're up to date on everything that's going on so that we fulfill the requirements, that there are very little to no errors involved in the filing process, it is a lot more stringent. And that's what's different is that we have to make sure that everything is done correctly because the stakes are that much higher. All right. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to answer questions. So, go ahead and put your questions in the comments, and I'm going to go ahead and answer. Okay. I'm going to start on Instagram. So, you're going to see me turn to this side. If you see me turn to this side, it's because I'm on Instagram, then YouTube, and then I'm going to be on TikTok. So, hang tight, everybody. Um, okay. So, go ahead. Luceni, go ahead and contact us via DM or contact us directly. I'm going to, for everybody on Instagram, I'm going to put our number in the comments section. I'm immigration lawyer Sharifa. You can call that number right now. You can go ahead and call that number right now. Scroll through, you'll see immigration lawyer Sharifa. You'll see on TikTok, you see the phone number at the on the title. And then on YouTube, I'm gonna go ahead and YouTube, Facebook, I'm gonna do the same in the chat. In the comment section, you'll see the number. You say, I believe there's hope. Absolutely. We cannot move forward. We could not have succeeded in the cases that we've succeeded in without hope and faith. So you are so right, sweet Tintin. That's exactly correct. Are they now interviewing for the T visa? No. So they do have the right. They have said in the policy manual that they do have the right to call interviews. So that could be a possibility, but it is not normal, not part of regular procedure. What's the process for adult unmarried child to citizen's parent who overstayed visa? So this one, let's talk about it. So if you are over 21, 21 or over, unmarried, child of citizen, then filing a petition and you've overstayed, filing a petition is not going to qualify you for the green card and you don't qualify for adjustment of status. I would say in this case, definitely filing a petition while you're overstayed is increasing the risk of removal. It's going to increase your risk to get a removal um, or a notice for removal proceedings. What I would say though is this is where you can definitely call, talk to us, and then we can see if there are alternative options that you have not looked at. That is what we have been doing. We ask questions that not a lot of attorneys ask, and that's how we are able to get to the solution. So I did an evaluation and I was told I am approved, but tried to call and sent a message to set a consultation. However, received no response. Okay. Okay. So the evaluation. So go ahead and just DM us and let us know. Because if you went ahead, you did the our initial evaluation, it says that you qualify for something we can help you with. That's going to be super important. And I don't know, our team usually is very on top of this. So I don't know if you missed a call or what happened there. But if go ahead and keep following up. You can contact us by DM and you'll definitely get a response there or give us a call back. You can call the number right back. Call us back if you feel like maybe you missed our call. Maybe if the call didn't go through, call us back. Okay, make sure you call back because this is very important. If it says the initial evaluation says that you can move forward with a strategy session with us, it means that there is something we've spotted we may be able to help you with. So give us a call back. If you get bona fide determination in February, when can you expect the work permit and what's causing the delay in processing? So I would say about 6 months after the bona fide determination. I don't know that contact. Okay, so just give us a call there. See the number on the screen. Um, which state is your law office? We're located in Boca Raton, Florida, um, and Delray Beach. So we're based in Delray Beach. We have office in Boca Raton. We represent clients in all 50 states and the globe. No matter where you are, we can assist you. How long can they detain you for? So now, usually, once they've detained someone, unfortunately, it can go on for years. In the past, that's exactly what has happened. People have been in there for years, waiting for hearings. Now, the way it's designed, when it's detained hearings, they usually go on a fast track basis where it will take, the getting to the final hearing about 4 months, right? Versus and what's called a non-detained. If you're not detained, you're going through removal. They tend to stretch those out for a longer period of time. Now, detention, if something happens, your case gets delayed, you could possibly be there for a while. Now, there are ways to fight that. They should not be holding you indefinitely. And if that's the case, if it goes on for very long, say beyond 6 months, and still nothing, there has been no process to be able to help you to either seek relief, seek defense from deportation, you've just been there, then there are court filings that can be done to be able to ask for your release. So that can be done in federal court, for example. And that probably would have to be the option in a case where you've tried everything to be released and you're spending a very long time there. How much you charge for green card case? So we have different kinds of green card cases. So we need to talk to you to get your facts and then be able to tell you what the cost will be, depending on what's going on in your situation. What to do? What do I do? My wife of 3 years, a citizen, went as far as withdrawing my I-45, and I have a pending asylum, and there are evidence of assault and abuse. Get in touch with us ASAP. It's urgent at this point. No, I'm so sorry that happened, but your spouse withdrew the I-130. And you do have a pending asylum, but I am seeing them trying to push people with pending asylums into removal as well. So with the adjustment of status, what I would say that your spouse, unless your spouse falsified your signature or a letter, your spouse has no right to withdraw your I-45, but your spouse can withdraw the I-130 petition. And why this is urgent is because when your spouse withdrew the I-130, it means that they're automatically going to deny the I-45 if you don't take action fast to fix it. Now, you did say you have evidence of abuse and assault. And what usually happens is we can swoop in before they deny your I-45 and say that we file an I-360, which is a VAWA petition, and then we contact immigration and we say, please note that we're no longer pursuing an I-130, which has been withdrawn anyway. We're pursuing an adjustment of status. Since you haven't denied the I-45, please make sure that it is now attached. So it's called hold the I-45 in abeyance while the I-360 is pending. So that's the process. But at that point, it's very urgent. There's just a very narrow window to catch that. What if we can, you get to keep your work permit and keep working on your work permit until you get the 10-year green card. So that's very, very important. So get in touch with us. We're available 24/7, but your case is urgent. I filed last November, got my permit and SSN, also got my travel document. When do you think it's estimated time to get an interview? There's really no way to estimate, but I would say from the time, expect a year, about a year for your case to be processed, for you to get an interview and then your case to be processed. I'm currently married to a US citizen and want to divorce. Can I remarry without implications? I don't have file and I didn't file any paperwork. Get in touch with us. We want to know what's going on in your case. It's very, very, very um important that you get advice because say your citizen spouse was mistreating you and that's why you want the divorce, then you may be able to pursue your green card without that US citizen spouse. You can even move forward with the divorce. But you see that the problem here is if you want to remarry, once you remarry, you're no longer qualified to apply for your own green card, your own work permit, and protection here. So it's very important that you get legal advice. You can always call us, schedule an appointment. Let's talk about what the best course of action is going forward. Is it to pursue your own process, or do you trust your if you do have another suitor? I know you're married, but if if you're in a position where you know you're going to remarry, then you trust that person, then that might be the better option. But it's so important to look out for yourself and be able to understand the implications. I have been applied since January and never got any interviews. So interviews can take longer than that. So if you applied in January, it's not surprising that you don't have an interview yet. Is it true marrying a US citizen no longer guarantees green card? It never did guarantee a green card, right? So this is where here's the deal. Nothing is guaranteed in life, right? And a lot of people had the misconception that when you marry a US citizen, automatically you get it's easy, super, super easy. You get your green card. That's a misconception. It's a process. You have to show you have to show that you qualify as a married couple. So, in this case, what you may have heard now is marrying a US citizen and filing a petition may get you placed in removal. Now, if that's the case, and the reason that would happen is if you're married to a US citizen, there are two ways this could happen. One is if you enter the country without permission, you don't qualify for adjustment of status, but say you file the petition. Filing the petition alone and then indicating that you entered without inspection means that technically what they are saying in the policy manual is technically they see that and you only file the petition, they can refer your case to removal now because what they're saying is you entered the country without permission, you're removable. So they send it over. It doesn't matter now you have a US citizen spouse. However, if you came in with parole, you came in with a visa that maybe you overstayed now, then you came in with permission basically into the U.S. inspection at the border. But you say you overstayed, you just don't have your status anymore. And then you married a US citizen, you qualify for adjustment of status. So the most important thing you must do is make sure that you're filing your adjustment of status because the adjustment of status application is what gets you the temporary protection while they make a decision, not the petition. So this is why it's very important to understand the procedural steps, why certain documents are filed. But I would go as far as to say this, that is why we are here. We are here to figure that out for you, to make sure everything is filed properly, to reduce your risk, and to ensure that you go through a smoother process and you're more likely to succeed. So you can file for your green card through your relatives, but keep in mind that a petition alone isn't going to do it. But if you qualify for adjustment of status, that's where it should be fine unless you're, of course, even under with the adjustment of status, you're deportable. So the simple way that each of you can ensure that you're doing this right is talking to us and getting at least a strategy session so we can talk to you about what you're going through and what your case looks like. And then we're able to advise you on a case by case basis, very specific to you, because each case is going to be different. One person, depending on how they entered, may face deportation, and then another person is going to be at a low risk based on their circumstances. Now, the other group that is susceptible to getting a notice to appear in immigration court are those who are. So you apply for a petition, right? Similar to if you enter the country without permission, you don't qualify for adjustment of status. Same thing. You're at visa overstay. You've overstayed your visa, and then you decide you're just gonna start with a petition. So you file the petition. Maybe you have the misconception the petition is what's gonna get you the green card. And then what happens is you don't qualify for adjustment of status because of the overstay, right? And you're not the immediate relative of a US citizen. That means that they will not overlook the overstay. So what happens is you file the petition saying you are the adult son or daughter of a US citizen, and then they look at it and say, yeah, but you overstayed, you're living here in the US and you don't qualify for adjustment of status. So you're deportable. And so they go ahead and forward you over to removal proceedings. So that's the other category that's at high risk. The other situation is you file your documents and you file something incorrectly, right? So say you start out at a low risk for any kind of being referred to removal. Say you are the spouse of a US citizen, you entered with your visa, but you overstayed your visa, so you're out of status, but you can show that you entered the country legally. You filed your documents, right? Say you filed everything, but then say you forgot to file your medical, your sealed medical, and they rejected. And upon the rejection, right before you go to refile it, you get a notice to appear because at that point, when they rejected the adjustment of status application, now it means that you don't have an adjustment of status application pending. And if somebody inspects your I-130, they'll see, oh, okay, you've overstayed. You didn't file your I-485 properly. So there's technically no I-485. Here's a notice to appear on top of that. That is a scenario that could happen now with mistakes and denials. And the same will go if they denied it. If you didn't submit the affidavit of support properly, which happens very often. People get the affidavit of support wrong. And then immigration doesn't warn you or give you a second chance to fix it, they deny your case. That can be followed with a notice to appear. Once you get that notice to appear, it's no longer in the hands of the USCIS. Now you have to go through immigration court. So I just want to show you the different ways that risk of removal occurs. And the one where I would say, yeah, go ahead and file. If you notice, it's the risk started out small, but because of mistakes throughout the case that cause rejection or denial, a notice to appear can follow very quickly. So this is where it's very, very important to make sure that you are looking out for yourself. So I know that's a long answer to the question. Is it true marrying a US citizen no longer guarantees the green card? That has always been true. However, it's no longer as simple as saying it's no longer very simple, right? It really comes down to a case by case basis. All right, so now I'm on TikTok, everybody. Hi there. So go ahead, put your questions in the comments. I filed my minor back in Jamaica. I filed my minor back in Jamaica. We received her alien number, but no approval as yet. It's 9 months. Yeah, so it could take longer than that. It's prepare for about 2 year process. What does the process entail to apply for an SSN, having a work permit? Contact the social, if you haven't gotten it already, contact the Social Security office, talk to them about what their process is. They usually schedule an appointment for you to go in and they issue the number. Can someone can someone get a work permit if they have a criminal record? Yes, it's possible, but once you have a criminal record, you definitely want to have this evaluated to determine your risk and the risk involved. What does I'm wearing white and the words are white, so it's making it really hard to read this. What does the process entail to apply for? Okay, so I answered that. Um, Can someone, are VAWA applicants now in trouble due to all these new policies? No, no, they're not in trouble. Does a rejection lead to a denial? A rejection, no, it's not the same. A rejection means they will give you the opportunity to cure it, but at the same time, they may not wait to get to see if you cured it. And so the rejection, I would say, puts you at a risk. So rejection, you have the opportunity to cure it. But with denial, it's just denied. You have to either appeal it or refile. Now, with the rejection, why I say it's still a risk is because as long as it's not properly filed and now they have a petition showing you're out of status, they can issue a notice to appear, which it seems like some of them are just going on auto, right? How long after sending T visa application to USCIS in Nebraska? So I think if you're talking about the receipt notice, you're looking at about 4 months. I got my affidavit of support rejected. What I do know, my husband didn't work 3 years ago. Get a co-sponsor. You need a co-sponsor ASAP. No, they won't accept um his current work money. So definitely you can give us a call, talk to us as if you have an attorney, make sure you're talking to your attorney. I have my 2 year green card expired. I filed I-751. I received the receipt. Can I travel outside the US? Did the receipt notice have the extension? Make sure you have the official extension letter. Then with your card, as a green card holder, you're able to travel. I'm not your attorney. I don't know your particular circumstances, but at a minimum, so you can't take this as personalized legal advice, but as a minimum, you should be able to travel with those two, and your passport, your green card, and the extension letter. Good afternoon. Can you file an AOS through marriage while having a pending T visa application? It may be possible from a strategic point of view. It's so important to make sure any changes like that, getting married, you need to contact your attorney and talk it through. Because you know sometimes it may not be the best idea. Sometimes it's okay. Is it advisable to file for asylum at this time? We have gotten asylum work permits. In the past month, we've gotten so many asylum work permits, as well as one unbelievable asylum approval after our client was called in for an asylum interview within 3 months. Yes, if you qualify for asylum, apply for it. Is there a priority date for the T visa? No. They do go by a quota of 5,000 a year. If they hit the quota, they issue bona fide determinations and a work permit to hold you over until they can give you the visa. But as of now, they've never hit the quota, and which is 5,000 a year, and I've I have not heard anything different. Can a doctor lose their legal status due to abortion-related charges in states with total bans? Yes, that's a possibility. If there are criminal charges involved, absolutely. Now, keep in mind that that will take additional review. We'd have to review the statute and then determine whether the nature of the offense, if it's performing an abortion in a state with a total ban, it depends on how it's described in a in the state statute, and then how does that translate to being removable in in the under the INA. So we'd have to look at that. But it just depends. But it's a possibility that that definitely. Now there is a type of inadmissibility called crimes involving moral turpitude, and that's sort of a catch-all. So if someone commits a crime that it just is so depraved, it's very serious. It goes against, common uh, moral fundament, foundational foundation, right? The foundational moral compass that we have, it goes against that and it's depraved. It can be categorized as a crime involving moral turpitude. So that's very broad, and that can possibly be a basis. Good evening. What's the longest wait for the VAWA receipt? I've seen one take as long as 5 months. Visa at administrative processing due to false accusations from my spouse out of anger. How do I get it? So yeah, administrative processing is definitely a hard situation. And it really comes down to your facts. You'd have to understand what happened, what kind of correspondence that they have with you about what your spouse said in order to determine if there's a way to overcome it. When is asylum interview? If I applied in January 2025, unfortunately, it can be in months and it can be in years. So they're all over the place. As you can see, we've had clients that filed for asylum a year ago. They have yet to have interviews. But our client that applied in May was called in for an interview and got approved for asylum. What happened after judge approved asylum, but the state attorney says he will appeal. So then you will go through an appeal process. So things will stay the same until they go through the appeal and a decision is made at the appellate level. Can I have two different cases with two different address, one in a motion to reopen pending? Good question. That can raise some questions and even cause them to start looking at your case more closely for fraud. So you need to make sure that I don't know the reason for the different addresses. Is it you moved? You just have to make sure across the board you've updated your address. It's consistent. I've waited for my green card forever after applying for removal of conditions after 2 year green card. So yeah, people are waiting up to 4 years for this. If there's anything you're worried about, you need to give us a call and we can talk it through, see if there's something we can do. My interview is next month. Any advice or tips for us? Interview is next month. Um, yeah, just gather all your documents. I have sample questions on my link tree. You can look at those sample questions just for practice. Look at the kind of questions you may be asked. Make sure you gather your original documents, your birth certificate, marriage certificate, any birth certificates of children, your passports. Make sure you have your ID. If your IDs have different addresses, make sure you're able to explain why, because sometimes they want to see your IDs, and if they see different addresses, if you're married, they're gonna say, um, okay, you moved and your son filed for you. Okay, so that's a good reason. Just update them on the address. At the interview, also make sure that you let the officer lead you with questions. So don't, go overboard and just talk, 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 talk. Just take it step by step. Allow the officer to lead the interview, allow the officer to guide you on what information they want. That will keep the interview orderly. It will make sure that it goes quickly, and it will also ensure that you're not having to create bad situations for yourself by talking too much or even getting the officer frustrated with more information than they need. Because sometimes people tend to go down a rabbit hole when it's not even necessary. Can I apply for my citizenship after 2-year green card? After applying for removal of conditions, possible if you're with your spouse, a U.S. citizen spouse, at a 3-year mark, you can do that. Oh, you're very welcome, Sarfina. How divorce affects pending asylum, please? It shouldn't unless there's an inconsistency in your application that the divorce can raise. So if you have concerns, it's time to talk to us. You give interview and later, I'm not sure what that, I think they canceled and later, sure. After sending TVs at doc, to DOJ, how long does it take for them to respond? So if you're talking about the, to get the early, let's see, how long? So TVs are documents for the DOJ to sign off on them. It just depends. It could take a few weeks. If you're talking about the early adjustment of status, you're looking at, a year right now. If you're if your paper NVC and it's F31 and children reach 25 and older, can they still go? It depends on the CSPA, Child Status Protection Act, that allows the certain calculations to be done to determine whether they aged out. So it's going to come down to that formula. I-360 and give me 6 months after 6 months, and they give me another 2 months. Okay, so prima facie that they automatically do those. If I divorce before my 2-year green card, will my citizenship be denied? Not necessarily. You do have to show that your marriage was real, even though you got the divorce, and that would still get you through. We do work on those cases. Those are one of our favorite types of cases. Get in touch with us. You can divorce, but you want to be careful with it. So give us a call, talk to us about your situation so we can get you ready for that. Good evening. I did my citizen from April. I passed the test but never hear from them as yet. Yeah, that's strange. Usually, you know where you stand at the interview. So, is there something you're concerned about? You can always, if this, they will correspond with you. You can always call them to find out what the status of your case is. But usually, you pass a test. Your background comes across good. You're gonna get the citizenship. Um, I'm renovating my green card after I'm renewing my green card after 10 years and daughter to a US citizen. Can I go out to Mexico I-90? So usually you get an extension when you're renewing your green card. But my question is, why haven't you applied for citizenship? If you had a 10-year green card, why haven't you? Get in touch with us. Citizenship right now is so important, and you may qualify for that, but we want to know, why you haven't applied for that. That may be the best one. Right. So if you cannot do your any updates to the address. So usually you can do it through an AR-11. Have you done it through an AR-11? That's where you do your change of address. If you can't do it that way, yeah, it's important to call them or do it in writing. Uh, can I do a VAWA and still stay married to my partner? Yes, you can. It's confidential, so they won't disclose that to your partner. My husband's document got accepted from NBC Online. What's the next step? So once it's accepted, then you're gonna wait for an interview. But it takes a while. Don't hold your breath. It does take a while. You could be looking at a year and a half just for an interview. Hey, I've been waiting for my VAWA CO9 work permit for 8 months. Is that normal? Yes, it's absolutely normal. 6 to 8, 12 months is the timeline for VAWA work permits. U.S. citizen parents sponsor adult unmarried children prior to date. 2018 case NVC. How long? Go to the National Visa Bulletin and you'll get the answer there. I'd have to be a computer to answer that. Had to wait, was out for the college in Mexico. I'm living here now. I could go out with my I-90 and expired green card. Give us a call. Let's see what's going on. Because you have an I-90, so you can't do it with the I-90. You have to have the letter, extension letter from filing the I-90 and the expired green card. But before you travel, guys, if you have any concerns, make sure you are doing your due diligence because it's rare, but it's happening where they are screening people and detaining them. So just make sure if you have any concerns, you're following up on that concern. My spouse got pregnant outside of our marriage. Can I file for VAWA? If that came along with, I know that that alone is definitely it's a disregard and it's definitely a red flag. But infidelity alone doesn't necessarily mean it qualifies for VAWA. But if they're doing it in a way like they're having an affair in front of you, disrespecting you, embarrassing you, putting you down, making you feel like it's your fault they're doing this, they have to cheat on you, then that is the pattern that qualifies for VAWA. So give us a call. Don't count yourself out. Let's talk in a strategy session. It's what I can say, guys, is now is not the time to gamble on your case, right? Make sure that you are spending that money. If it's not with me, another attorney, make sure you're doing it, guys, because it's so important now. Make sure you are scheduling time to talk to an attorney, tell them your situation, and see if you qualify for relief or make sure you're going down the right path because the stakes are a lot higher and any mistakes can be and that turn your case into a nightmare and it doesn't have to be. For T visa, do they always ask for supporting docs? How can you say the case is strong? Um, it really is on a case by case basis. A case is strong whenever I talk to someone and the minute they tell me what they've been through, that's how I can tell when it's strong, right? If they tell me that they've been through an ordeal that qualifies for T visa, that's a strong case. Then we get to work on the supporting documents from there. But if it happened to you and you can recount it and I look at when I'm talking and attorney Deanna, attorney Bria, when our attorneys here are talking to clients, we are sifting through the facts to determine whether it falls under a certain form of relief. So if someone tells me I came here to the United States to work for somebody who promised me that they would get me the green card if I came and worked for them. So I started working for them depending on that promise. But it turns out they didn't intend to do that. Turns out they started charging fees for me for transporting me to work and charging me fees for housing. And then payments started to be late. And then every time I asked them about the paperwork to get the green card, they would get mad at me. That, my friends, is a form of labor trafficking by fraud. Then my next question usually would be, okay, well, if you go back to your country, what are the hardships you face? And they tell me what kind of hardships they're going to face. And I realize it's a pretty severe situation. That's a strong T. There's no more has to be said. We just get to work from there. So that's your first step with us. With us, we ask questions, we find out answers, we get the answers, and then we can determine what you can qualify for and move forward from there. What would the reason be for a delay in asylum? Several months. Is it work permit delay? Because asylum can go for years, so that may not be a delay. But are you talking about the work permit? Do children under 18 pay for work permit and filing of asylum? Under 18, yes. Under 14, there may be different fees for the work permit. What will my legal status after divorce? My husband is divorcing me while asylum is pending. Did you have any other? Well, you would not have. You still probably don't have a status. But what's going on with your immigration marriage-based case? That's what we need to know. So give us a call, talk to us about the specifics so we can get started right away. What could cause delays for work permit for T visa? So it's backed up, at this point. I mean, delays in particular cases can depend, but we are seeing a blanket delay on work permits. We are getting work permit, T visa work permits, but they are coming along very slowly. And that is because they're backed up. They're changing processes. As you can see, they've been busy at the USCIS doing all of these crazy changes that, doing more screening, that's going to take more time as well. So these things are increasing the processing times for everything. Why would a work permit be rejected? It's not completed properly. The required documents aren't attached properly. My husband's I-130 says they are actively reviewing our case 3 months now. Should we be worried? No, it's very normal for it to sit there even up to a year saying that it's actively being reviewed. How is the fee for T visa? Did they raise prices? Not for the T visa. No. Do children under pay for filing of asylum, or it's only their parents who pay? So the children for right now, I would have to check to see if the pay schedule even changed. Asylum, the last I checked, there was no fee, but I have to check if they changed to add fees and what the fees are for the children. My husband has, if there are any fees. My husband has two different last name. What should I do? I don't advise on how to fill out forms, get legal advice and representation because I don't know your case. I don't know what the situation is with the two names, so I can't answer that. I don't understand. My lawyer said there is no explanation for delaying asylum and denied work permit. Well, at this point, yes, you need to. I don't know your case. I'm not your attorney. You definitely need to defer to your attorney. Okay, I would love to have a discussion with you if I can get your contact information. So if you scroll to the top of the screen and even to the top, you'll see the phone number. Give us a call. That's how you're going to be able to talk to us. At SC Law Office, we have Attorney Deanna. We have attorney Bria. They work very closely with me to screen these cases to find what options for people to be able to stay here and get protection. All right. I am going to head out for tonight. So I am working on being here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, Mondays through Fridays. So I just don't have a set time yet. So what you can do is like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell. And as soon as the reason for that is you'll get notification that I'm live. You'll even get notification of other videos I'm posting. You can hop on, you can then answer put your questions in or get updates. Right now it's important more than ever to make sure that we're sharing information, providing updates. So thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna be back, so just come back and put your questions in as soon as you see me come on so I can keep answering questions. All right, guys. So, as I always say, let's approach everything with us being solution oriented, with faith. Let's keep prayers up. That's what we've been doing, and we continue to change lives, and we'll continue to push through and fight for our clients, fight for individuals. And we know when we're fighting for our clients, we are also fighting for immigrants and fighting to maintain the ability for immigrants to get their papers here, get protection here. So what you can do is empower yourself by reaching out, talking to us. That's going to be the first step. That's going to definitely at this time be the best $150 that you can pay right now to know whether you're going to have an option or establish a relationship so that we can, if you need help, if something changes, we have you in the system and we can get started with you if something even changes in the future. Again, what I am seeing, and I want to share this with you, is we have been able to help our clients because they have a good legal team. And frankly, during these times, no case is simple. And because of that, when complexities arise in cases where the person isn't represented, it gets very hard to succeed because it gets intimidating, it feels hopeless, and you're lost at that point. So get in touch with us, start good. Let's start on the right foot to make sure that you're protected, you're putting yourself in the best position. We're 24/7, we answer the phone 24/7, so call us anytime for help. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time. And I will be back tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye.